Hey guys, what's up? I'm going to be doing a review today on the UltraGauge OBD2 gauge reader. It retailed, I believe, for $90 or $89.90. I paid an extra $5 or $6 for a 3M mount for it, a flush mount, and what it does is it plugs right into your OBD2 reader. It can tell you your water temp, your oil pressure, RPM. It could do like a clock. It could do all different kind of things that basically a computer can do. It can. I don't believe it can erase codes. When I go through it, I'll double check, and then if it does, I'll leave it in the description. But it does everything a computer can do, and it displays it on basically a little gauge. The gauge is a little smaller than I thought, or what I was hoping for, but it'll be perfect for me because it's only going to be to see basically the RPM, the temperature, oil pressure, and stuff like that at an accurate reading because it's going off the computer. So what the computer is getting is what you're going to be seeing. So I'll do a little unboxing of it, and then I'll plug it in and see how it works. Alright. So right off the bat, you get your receipt. You get a paper that says avoid damage, basically telling you to go visit the link to show how to properly install it so you don't damage it. So this is the gauge itself. Like I said, it's fairly tiny. I'll grab a tape measure just so you can see a reference. So it's about 3.5 in length and 2 inches wide, and the display is a little smaller than that. But what it does is it comes with a fairly long cable to plug right into your OBD2, so which is good. It gives you a lot of wire to play with, and then you can just strap up what you don't need after that. It gives you some Velcro, and then this is the gauge that I paid, I want to say $5 or $6 extra for. Now this comes in, there's 3 different versions of what they call it. I don't know what the differences are, what one does more than the other. Maybe they're different sizes. I didn't look at the description too much. But I got the one, I want to say it's the fourth version or fourth update, whatever they call it, which was the pricier one that they had. But they're all within like $3 or $4, so I can't see much of a difference going from each one. This is the mount that I got. It comes with a 3M sided tape, and then it comes with a mount basically to hook excuse me, to hook right into the back of this, and that locks in up there, and then you can just strap that anywhere. It swivels, it'll lock into place on the mount. So to disengage, slide down, and it clips out. Now this bracket right here comes out, and on the back you have a menu button, a up and a down button, and this right here, don't know what that is, so I'm not going to mess with that. Looks like mechanical stuff. So yeah, that's basically that. I'm going to plug it in and see what it reads, or see what it prompts me with when I first start it up. Alright, so when I plug the gauge into the OBD2 down there, the car isn't on yet, so it's not even on accessories. It's completely off. What it does is it reads a scanning, it shows a scanning screen. And I also figured out that what the difference on the orders that I did was, this one's a 1.4 version, the other one I believe was a 1.3 and then a 1.2. There's 3 different gauges. So I'm gonna let this scan, and then I'll come back and see what the next menu is. So I then turned the car on to accessories, and then it said J1850 VPM found. So now it's going to run through I want to say like an installation screen, where it's discovering gauges enhanced. Alright, so here we're at the main screen. I figured out how to change what options you have in your menus. On the back you have a up and down, like I said, which you can use to adjust your pages. So now I'm on page 2. This will have different settings. Hold it, page 3. You have another set. So you can basically have a few pages of what you want on here. So we're gonna go all the way back to page 1, and I'll show you how to yeah, let me actually go to page 7. I'll add it on page 7 since it's a brand new one. Okay, so now that we're on here, no gauge is selected, we're going to click the menu button. Gauge/page menu, select gauge, select gauges. I'll go to page 7. Okay, I want Fahrenheit on the engine temp for coolant. Okay, next I want RPM. So see, I'm kind of confused. I was messing with it before. You can't have more than one thing on so see how it took that away? If I go back. See, I'm on, so I got engine temp right there, which is what I want. RPM. Try adding that. See, it took that off too. Doesn't show it. Yeah, see? Kind of weird. Let me try page 1 then. So we have engine temp. Now let me just try adding the RPM. So it's reading the RPM, but it won't let me use more than one. So say if I wanted on page 1, I can't have RPM and engine temp, which is kind of weird. Let me see if I can go to add it on page 2. Okay, so page 2 has it. Oh, you know what it might be? Alright, let me try this. Okay, page 1. I have RPM, which I want. I want to add no, well, let me do it, huh? Wow. Alright, just a quick throw this in at the end. I forgot to mention on the gauge, there is there's other option where you can check the codes on your car, what the codes are, error codes. It doesn't tell you exactly what the error is. It'll give you the code to where you can just punch it in on Google or a forum, or if you have a Sheldon book, it'll tell you all the codes, and you can just look it up what the actual meaning of that code is. You can suspend the codes because it'll give you, say if it's a serious issue, it'll pop up with an error screen making a beeping noise, and you can either suspend it to prolong it to where you can still have it there and not erase it to forget about it, or you can erase them all together. And also I wanted to throw in, when I was adjusting what gauges you want on pages, I was doing it wrong. So when you get into the menu and you select gauges, it has you select what page you want to do the gauges on, 1 through 7. So say if you select page 1 and then you get to the next screen, you select the gauges. When you're going through the gauges and you say you select RPM and then you click 1, So that means that's the first gauge on page 1. Then you go to the next one, oil or coolant, you put 2. So that's the second gauge on page 1. So when I was doing it wrong when I was selecting 1, 2, 3. I was thinking that it was pages 1, 2, 3, but no. Once you select that page 1, then you go to the gauges. It's 1 through 8 of what gauges you want on that page. So that was a little tricky for me to figure out, but I ended up figuring out because I had to open the instructions on that one. But I was kind of confused as to why it would only let me do one gauge that I selected on the page. But I figured that out. But other than that, it's a very good. It's easy to read. It's very well lit. It uses a constant power that your vehicle will be able to handle. When you turn the vehicle off, it'll dim out. It'll go to sleep. And when you turn it back on, it should turn right back on. But other than that, I like it so far. It's easy to rely on something like that where it's coming off the OBD2 instead of a gauge where you have to self-wire it up yourself. A lot of times gauges like that, they'll go faulty. The gauges that I'm using, they're not brand new. They're off of other vehicles. So this will give me a little extra security and peace of mind that if the vehicle's overheating or the oil pressure's low, I'll be able to react quicker than later and potentially damage the vehicle. So which is good for everyday daily drivers, especially if you daily drive a vehicle. A lot of people tend to forget the coolant, whether the vehicle overheats. Sometimes clusters are faulty. That happens a lot of times. If the the RPMs are acting up, whether it's you can also check your sensors for your throttle body. You can check your idle air control valve, your throttle position sensor, your battery voltage to see if your battery's going bad or your alternator's going bad. But other than that, I mean, it's for the price, it's very well worth it. It's exactly what a computer does, except it gives you a nice clean display to where you can constantly see it. So other than that, I mean, I'm very happy with it. If you guys have any questions on it, feel free to comment. I'm going to be posting more videos. If you have any questions on the vehicle back there, or what I want to be doing with the 88 BMW that I purchased, which I will be posting more videos on, feel free to drop those as well. But other than that, hope you liked the video. Have a good one.